Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes Hong Kong's Cathay to offer 3.8% pay rise, but pilots' union far from happy. Hong Kong stocks open on a cautious note, Baidu gains after strong earnings. Merle Goldman, noted scholar of Chinese intellectual descent, dies at 92. Capital calls, Carlile, Panasonic. Hong Kong food tech startup challenges Japanese Bento Market. Hong Kong's Cathay to offer 3.8% pay rise, but pilots' union far from happy. South China Morning Post. Cathay Pacific Airways will offer its pilots a 3.8% pay rise in 2024, but some will have to fly more hours to qualify, according to an internal memo. An entry-level second officer will be offered 34,158 Hong Kong dollars, $4,382 per month in basic salary from January. However, the Hong Kong Aircrew Officers Association said flight crews would need to fly more to achieve the rise offered. The airline reduced the minimum monthly flight target for pilots from 47.83 hours to 49 hours. The hourly rate for an entry-level second officer will rise from 686 Hong Kong dollars and 60 cents to 697 Hong Kong dollars and 10 cents if they work the required 49 hours. Hong Kong stocks open on a cautious note, Baidu gains after strong earnings. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong stocks were lower in early trade as caution prevailed with eyes on pending corporate earnings releases. The Hang Seng Index dropped 0.1% to 17,725.71 as of 10:03 a.m. local time. Merle Goldman, noted scholar of Chinese intellectual descent, dies at 92. Washington Post. Merle Goldman, a 92-year-old scholar of Chinese affairs, has died in Massachusetts. Goldman had Merkel cell carcinoma, a rare skin cancer, according to her son Seth. She wrote more than a dozen books, many of which are considered essential to understanding China's pro-reform movements. Goldman believed that China's rise as a global economic power could eventually lead to Beijing loosening its grip on opposition. She also argued that China's Confucian legacy was inherently incompatible with centralized power and that China's vast middle class might eventually seek its own political voice. Goldman warned that this would not necessarily result in a Western-style democracy, however. She noted that China's freedoms have not increased in the years since she made her argument, with political and media freedoms in Hong Kong being curtailed and restrictions of the Uyghur Muslim minority in Xinjiang province. Further, she noted an increasingly virulent form of nationalism among younger Chinese, supporting crackdowns in Tibet. Goldman's connections in China allowed her to share stories and insights that went beyond geostrategic power plays. Capital calls, Carlile, Panasonic. Reuters breaking views. U.S. private equity firm Carlile is selling its 28% stake in McDonald's China back to the fast food chain for $6 billion, marking a 15% internal rate of return for Carlile. The deal, which follows Carlile's 2017 partnership with state-backed CITIC and a consortium, frees up the firm to focus on other investments in China, including ByteDance and Ant Group. Meanwhile, Panasonic is selling part of its automotive unit, which had the second largest sales of its 5 divisions, to Apollo Global Management, potentially paving the way for a listing. Hong Kong food tech startup challenges Japanese Bento Market. Financial Times. Hong Kong startup Kamakura Foods is planning to enter the Japanese bento market with a tech platform for serving bentos automatically. The company has sold over 600,000 hot bentos in Hong Kong since 2019 and operates 40 machines in 30 locations across the city. It also has its own kitchen to prepare up to 1,200 Japanese-style bentos a day. Kamakura Foods' first vending machine in Japan will be placed in an outlet of a Bento Monogatari, a local bento chain in Osaka. The vending machines can serve a bento in 17 seconds and feature multiple bento options for customers to choose from. The company's main focus is on providing a logistics solution for serving hot bentos, including the supply chain between kitchens and vending machines. Kamakura Foods believes that its platform can help local bento shops increase revenue and expand into the dinner market without hiring additional staff. An insider guide to Singapore's groundbreaking modern dining scene. Financial Times. Singaporean cuisine has long been dominated by French and Japanese influences, but a new wave of young chefs are challenging this status quo. These chefs are focusing on the diverse range of local cuisine in Singapore, including Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Peranakan dishes. They are reimagining traditional dishes and presenting them in new, innovative ways. Several of these restaurants have been awarded Michelin stars and ranked on the Asia's 50 Best Restaurants list. Some of the most exciting restaurants in Singapore celebrating local cuisine include Saroja, serving dishes from the Malay archipelago, Panjiam, offering contemporary straits cuisine, Born, presenting Chinese flavors with French technique, Nay, serving upscale Korean cuisine, and Lala, showcasing Filipino accented flavors. These restaurants are not only putting a spotlight on Singaporean cuisine, but they are also incorporating sustainable practices and supporting local farmers and producers. Hong Kong Land appoints Singapore-based Mapletree's Michael Smith as CEO. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong Land Holdings has appointed Michael Smith, currently regional CEO for Europe and the US at Mapletree Investments, as its CEO from April 1, the Hong Kong property company said on Tuesday. Smith, who will relocate from Singapore, brings a proven track record in real estate investment and capital allocation, Ben Keswick, Hong Kong Land Chairman said. Smith will take over from Robert Wong, who will stay on as a senior advisor to ensure a smooth transition. Evergrand Chairmans 2 luxury mansions seized by creditor, local media. Yahoo! 2 Hong Kong luxury homes owned by China Evergrande Group Chairman Hui Ka-yen have been seized by a creditor, according to local media outlet HK01. The properties, situated in one of Hong Kong's most prestigious neighborhoods, are worth more than 1.5 billion Hong Kong dollars, $192 million, combined. They will officially be taken over by the creditor in the coming days. Huaweis' other property in the area was seized last year by China Construction Bank, Asia. Evergrande is currently fighting a winding-up petition and has until December 4 to unveil a new restructuring proposal. Its headquarters and a rural land plot in Hong Kong were seized by creditors last year after the company defaulted on public debts. Hong Kong Exchange launches digital IPO platform FINI to boost listings. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing, HKEX, has launched a digital platform aimed at boosting initial public offerings, IPOs, by speeding up settlements and reducing investor risks. The fast interface for new issuance, FINI, will shorten the settlement cycle to 2 days from 5 by modernizing and digitalizing Hong Kong's IPO settlement process. The new platform will hasten the listing process and bring Hong Kong in line with other listing venues, analysts said. Evergrande creditor seizes Hui Ka-yen's Peak Mansions, HK01 says. Bloomberg. China Evergrande Group Chairman Hui Ka-yen has had 2 of his houses on Hong Kong's Peak seized by a creditor, according to local media outlet HK01. The houses, valued at over 1.5 billion Hong Kong dollars, $192 million, will be formally seized within days. This comes as Evergrande is facing a credit crisis that has affected China's real estate sector and slowed down the country's economy. The company has until December 4 to come up with a new restructuring proposal or face an asset liquidation order. Hong Kong half-marathon chiefs sorry as cracks appear in perfect bridge race. South China Morning Post. Organizers of the Bank of China Hong Kong Zhuhai-Macau Bridge Half Marathon have apologized for several issues during the race. The Hong Kong Association of Athletics Affiliates, HKAAA, admitted that officials mistakenly used the finish tape intended for the women's winner. This meant that the men's runners broke the tape before the women's champion. Participants also complained about a lack of food, water, and sports drinks, as well as long queues for buses and security checks. Organizers blamed the location and police requirements for the problems. Hedge funds copy Citadel fee model in Asia talent war. Yahoo! A number of Asia-based hedge funds are now charging clients additional fees above and beyond the usual performance and management charges to cover costs such as life insurance, according to Bloomberg News. Nine Masts Capital recently introduced the so-called expense pass-through model following Southern Ridge's Capital last year, while Pinpoint Asset Management has created 3 new share classes using the structure. The model is designed to compete with larger international hedge funds that dangle multi-million-dollar signing bonuses to attract top talent, while also providing a more stable source of income. Regional hedge funds have suffered a poor year, with a decline of 8.8% in 2022, the largest such drop since 2008, according to Eureka Hedge PTE data. The expense pass-through is a departure from the traditional 2 and 20 model, whereby hedge funds charge clients 2% of client assets along with a 20% cut of any profits. Hong Kong bankers have lots of free time, anxiety as deals slump. Bloomberg. The once lucrative world of investment banking in Hong Kong has seen a marked decline as deals have fallen 6% to $185 billion so far this year. The value of IPOs has also shrunk, with 2016 set to be the worst year since 2001 for Hong Kong debuts, with just $4.6 billion of IPOs. The poor outlook for the industry is causing banks to take action, with multiple rounds of layoffs being conducted by Wall Street banks such as Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. The slump in deal-making has triggered a downturn in other industries such as law firms and consultancies. How Huawei's chipmaker turned U.S. sanctions into a China success story. Bloomberg. Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corp. (SMIC) has been seen as a secret weapon for Beijing's efforts to break through the U.S. organized blockade aimed at containing China's progress in technology. The company's success in delivering an advanced 7-nanometer processor to Huawei has been met with jubilant celebration in China, but alarm in Washington. SMIC has been blacklisted since 2020, but the U.S. Commerce Department has continued to issue licenses to SMIC suppliers in certain cases. U.S. lawmakers and industry experts are now calling for the Biden administration to crack down further on SMIC, even at the risk of fraying U.S.-China tensions. SMIC has been stockpiling chip-making machines for years, including the same models of deep ultraviolet lithography equipment from ASML Holding NV used to make the industry's first 7-nanometer semiconductors. SMIC made Huawei's chip-on DUV machines from ASML. The question for SMIC is whether it can produce sophisticated chips in volume, or whether the U.S. will kneecap its capabilities. Asia stocks mixed as Nvidia caps sluggish U.S. day, markets wrap. Bloomberg. Asian stocks traded mixed as the U.S. rally stalled and big tech declined. Nvidia Corp fell in late trading after reporting earnings. Mainland Chinese shares fell at the open, while tech stocks in Hong Kong gained, partially supported by Baidu Incorporated. U.S. equity futures edged lower after the Nasdaq 100 index sank 0.6% Tuesday, with Apple Inc., Microsoft Corporation and Amazon.com Inc. all dropping. Hello, viewers. It's me, Dr. Six, your host from the 6 Degrees world. Today, we have a diverse range of news to cover, from labor disputes to culinary delights, and even some high-stakes finance. So, let's get started. First up, Cathay Pacific Airways has offered its pilots a 3.8% pay rise, but it seems that the pilots' union is far from happy. The airline has added a condition that pilots need to fly more hours to qualify for the pay rise, which has not gone down well with the flight crews. It's a classic case of give and take, or should I say fly and take? Moving on, Hong Kong stocks opened on a cautious note, with eyes on pending corporate earnings releases. The Hang Seng Index dropped slightly, as investors treaded carefully. It seems like they're waiting for the earnings reports to come in before making any big moves. It's like waiting for the results of a game before deciding who to bet on. In sad news, Merle Goldman, a renowned scholar of Chinese intellectual descent, has passed away at the age of 92. Goldman's work was considered essential in understanding China's pro-reform movements. She believed that China's rise as a global economic power could lead to greater political freedom, but unfortunately, she noted that China's freedoms have not increased in recent years. It's a reminder that progress doesn't always move in a straight line. In the world of finance, Carlile is selling its stake in McDonald's China back to the fast food chain for a tidy profit. The deal allows Carlile to focus on other investments in China, including companies like ByteDance and Ant Group. Meanwhile, Panasonic is selling part of its automotive unit, potentially paving the way for a listing. It seems like everyone's making moves in the Chinese market, like a game of financial chess. Next, a Hong Kong food tech startup is challenging the Japanese Bento Market with its automated vending machines. Kamakura Foods has found success in Hong Kong, selling hot bentos through its machines. Now, it plans to expand into Japan, starting with an outlet of a local bento chain in Osaka. It's like bringing a taste of Hong Kong to Japan, one bento at a time. In Singapore, a new wave of young chefs is challenging the dominance of French and Japanese influences in the local cuisine. They are reimagining traditional dishes from Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Peranakan cuisines and presenting them in innovative ways. These chefs are not only putting Singaporean cuisine in the spotlight but also incorporating sustainable practices and supporting local farmers and producers. It's like a culinary revolution, with a side of sustainability. Hong Kong Land Holdings has appointed a new CEO, Michael Smith, who brings a proven track record in real estate investment and capital allocation. He will be taking over from Robert Wong, who will stay on as a senior advisor. It's like a changing of the guard, with a fresh face at the helm. In more real estate news, 2 luxury mansions owned by the chairman of China Evergrande Group have been seized by a creditor. This comes as Evergrande faces a credit crisis and has until December 4 to come up with a new restructuring proposal. It seems like the chairman's houses are not the only things that are being repossessed. Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing, HKEX, has launched a digital platform to boost initial public offerings, IPOs. The fast interface for new issuance, FINI, aims to speed up settlements and reduce investor risks, bringing Hong Kong in line with other listing venues. It's like a digital express lane for IPOs, making the listing process faster and smoother. In the world of sports, the Bank of China Hong Kong Zhuhai-Macau Bridge Half Marathon had a few hiccups. Officials mistakenly used the finish tape intended for the women's winner, causing confusion during the race. Participants also complained about a lack of food, water, and sports drinks, as well as long queues for buses and security checks. It seems like the race organizers hit a few roadblocks along the way. In the finance world, Asia-based hedge funds are taking a page out of Citadel's book and charging clients additional fees to cover costs like life insurance. This move is aimed at competing with larger international hedge funds that offer multi-million-dollar signing bonuses to attract top talent. It's like a fee frenzy, where everyone wants a piece of the pie. Finally, the once lucrative world of investment banking in Hong Kong is seeing a decline in deals, causing banks to take action. Layoffs have been conducted, And the slump in deal-making has had a ripple effect on other industries, such as law firms and consultancies. It's like a domino effect, with one industry's decline affecting others. And that's all for today's news roundup. Remember, the world is full of surprises, whether it's labor disputes in the skies or culinary revolutions on the ground. Stay tuned for more updates from the 6 Degrees world. And now, it's your turn, viewers. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.